Hello everyone, welcome to another Last Part 2 video. I was talking a whole lot a few minutes ago and I forgot to put my mic in. I forgot to even turn off my mic to tell you. But yeah, this is a different type of video I'm going to be releasing on this channel. This is a different video. It's a very different type of video. For once, this has no Last of Us gameplay. It has no anything. It's not even on the Last of Us application. You know, this is I'm basically taking gameplay from the last piece they did. It was Uncharted 4. You know, unless you have, if I was going to use the Lost Legacy, but I just felt like it's a DLC add-on basically. So it's like, you know, Uncharted 4 is basically and practically their last piece they did. So I'm going to be using Uncharted 4 multiplayer, or Uncharted 4 survival mode in gameplay to try somehow to compare it to Last of Us Part 2 survival mode if they have one. To me, I'm really excited about the survival mode. I want to see what they're going to do because the multiplayer, I already have so many. I played multiplayer, man, and sometimes I'm not really interested in multiplayer. I'm more interested in survival mode. Survival mode doesn't get me as angry. All right, I really wanted a survival mode for The Last of Us Part 1, but they didn't give it to me. So anyways, I don't even think survival mode was really that popular back in 2013 and 2012, 2013, or 2009 through 2013. I don't really think it was that popular, or they didn't even have multiplayer when I first got The Last of Us Part 1. They didn't even have a multiplayer. They had to make, hey, you had to buy that stuff. You had to buy it. But anyways, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff they have in the survival mode that we can probably imagine that's going to come out in for The Last of Us Part 2. Just, you know, just compare it and see if it's even possible to have that. So yeah, it might be loud. Hopefully PlayStation does something to my voice that makes it louder. So yeah, okay. So yeah, here we go at the beginning of the gameplay. Anyways, yeah, just to let you guys know, they have like bots in this game, and that's what I was playing with first. I've been playing the survival a lot, and you know, probably an hour or two. Not much gameplay, but just, you know, a few of it. And I want to look at this game mode. I want to look at this game mode, survival game mode, as a way to see the different types of modes they have, because there's some certain modifiers in the game that make it kind of a bit of a challenge for you. You know, sometimes it'd be pistol and punching, or you can only get headshots and, you know, melee and all that kind of stuff. They have that, but they also have certain modes on here in the survival mode that try to make it a challenge for you. They're called modifiers. But the first one of them that I can tell you about is survival. Obviously, the survival thing is to survive all the enemies until you knock them out, because that's what it is. They don't really call it killing, they just say knock them out. And because this game is so lighthearted. Okay, so survival is basically survive all the enemies. Survive every enemy that you come in contact with and knock them out, and it will tell you on the left, the top left, if you have any, you know, if you have any, you know, anyone to knock out left. All right, so yeah, that's basically what survival is. It's basically just it's basically what it says, survival. All right, the next one I can tell you about is Siege. Siege is basically like, when you play Call of Duty, you ever play multiplayer and play a game mode called Hardpoint? This is basically what it is, but this time you hold the hardpoint and you defend it. There's a twist to it. If you're not in the hardpoint while knocking out your enemies, you will not get any money. The money is primarily there for to buy weapons, heavy weapons, stuff like that. I think they put the like the stuff that can make you teleport and all the other stuff. Like I said, I'm not really good at this game. I'm not really know much about this game. But anyways, yeah, you can buy a bunch of money and that's how you get it. But if you do it outside of the hard point, you don't get any money. They'll even tell you when you do it, when you actually kill someone or knock out someone. Sorry, if you knock out someone in this game, you don't get it. So that's pretty much all it is. The next one is not my favorite. All right, it's nowhere near my favorite. It's called Treasure Hunt. I'm not a fan of Treasure Hunt. I'm not a fan of Treasure Hunt. I don't like it. It's really hard to play it. And I've gotten kind of angry on it a few times. A little bit, like, you know, I've had my episodes of it, because it's like, you know, you're about to get it and then you don't get it because the time runs out. And you get like 4 minutes, I think. 4 minutes to find them all, to find all 100 of them. Obviously, you know, at first you go to a certain amount of them, go to a certain area in the map, and you go over there and you collect all 50 of them, and then you go to another area of the map and you collect 50 more of them. Okay, that's how it goes. So yeah, that's basically what you gotta do, is just find 100 of them. If I find 50 of them in one place, and then in an area in the map, and then find another 50 of them, and it adds up to 100. Then you pass it. That's basically what I do, but it's a lot harder than it looks. It's, when you first look at it, it looks very, very complicated and very, like, just time shaking. Because sometimes it is if you don't do it right and if you don't do it fast enough. So yeah, that's basically Siege. Like I said, there's other modifiers. But there's also marked enemies you gotta kill. Now you obviously kill the enemies that are literally marked on your screen. Sometimes you gotta kill the heavy gunner, stuff like that. And at the end of each one, at the end of every round, not end of every round, but when you get to the max round, to the very last round to it, you gotta fight a warlord. The warlords are basically, you know, the bad guys, like the boss of the entire round or the entire wave. So the last wave is you basically get a boss and you got to kill him. All right. The more and more that you go up the stages, the more harder it gets. The more, because survival is the easiest one. So you can basically, it's not easy to do survival, or it's easy to do survival. Sorry. So they really reduce the amount of rounds that are in survival. They increase treasure hunt, increase siege. You know, they really put the modifiers on so you can't really use your strong weapons. You got to use pistols sometimes and melee. That's it. Sometimes you got to get headshots, and in this game it's hard to get headshots unless you turn your aim assist off. But yeah. This other stuff that I'm gonna be, and I am gonna be comparing this to Last of Us Part 2. So, but anyways, since we got all down, we talked about the game modes and everything. And if I do miss anything, I really apologize. I'm not big on this game. I'm not. I just played it a few times, and I played the story a few times. I know the story well, not really well, but I know it well. But so how can The Last of Us Part 2 do this? How can they have something called Siege? What if they had to secure a certain place? What if instead of defending a place, we were actually raiding a certain place? You know, I think The Last of Us would do something like Last of Us Part 2 would do something like that. To be honest, I love the combat in the game, in that survival. Sorry if I'm getting off topic here, but I just wanted to point that out, that I am really, I enjoy the, just watch this, you know, oh, crap. I was not supposed to do that. There you go. The gameplay is the combat. The combat system in the game is amazing. I can only hope that they do that in The Last of Us Part 2. We already caught a whiff of it for the combat. It's okay. I mean, there's a lot of some dodging, but there's really nothing more. I like very tactical and very technical and very specific games that do the combat like this, like the Batman game, the Batman Arkham game. They went so deep with the combat, and it was so awesome because it was so in depth, and it was just really awesome. And they did the same thing with this game. We can actually counter with a triangle in the game, and it's an amazing concept, really. So I can only hope for that. But let's go back to what I was talking about before. But yeah, if they were going to have that kind of for Siege, it would be like raiding instead of actually protecting. That's what I would do. Raiding, because you don't want to make it the same. You want to make something different, something better, something like something more growth, some more growth into it. So yeah, but if it was gonna be survival, I mean that's my thoughts on the Siege. It should be more like called raiding or something. But I think Siege, or not Siege, but survival should be, you know, it should say like survival, and then at the bottom of it maybe say like, you know, in this game it just says, no, knockouts, or knock out the remaining enemies. I think is to something catchy with The Last of Us Part 2, since the Last of Us Part 2 is gonna be really dark and very bloody and more gory than this game, and more more cold and heartless than this game, and more dark than lighthearted. They'll probably say something like slaughter them all, or kill them all, or something like that. Something that's gonna really say something like, or just massacre everybody, or say go on a killing spree. You know, something like that. That's what I think they're gonna do. So yeah, that's what I think they're gonna do for survival. Now the treasure hunt. Okay, so The Last of Us Part 2 is a game that's not really functioned on treasure. If you know, it's more about supplies and scavenge. For me, but the treasure is like all over the place. You know, you gotta go find it, and it's basically easy to find just looking at your map on this game on Uncharted 4 survival mode. But it's different, man. It's really hard to figure out what a treasure hunt. Why would you can't really put that in The Last of Us Part 2 treasure hunt, because the word that is not it's not part of The Last of Us Part 2. It's it's not connecting to it any place or anyhow. So what could you do to put it here? To be honest, I think okay, yeah, here's one of the warlords I was telling you about. Yeah, so I'll get to that in a few minutes. But if we're gonna put something out there, I think it needs to be something that The Last of Us really requires. Alright, let's say that it could be bombs. What if it's like, you get a certain amount of bombs, and then you actually, when you get to the very last, you get all 100, something blows up. Something cool like that, It can be something like that, or it's really hard to come to this. Help me, I need you guys to help me out with this one, okay? Tell me in the comments if when you're watching this. Tell me in the comments and see if yours is better than mine. But yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so let's talk about the marked enemies. Instead of having marked one, we should have a certain type of system to where it has a mark, like a marked enemy, not just marked, but most hated. Since the theme of it is hatred. What if it was to a certain type of hatred where it would boost our adrenaline? It would like basically boost us up to kill him because we're so angry and filled with hatred towards this particular person. So, but also the person that's the target who's being hated so much, it gets, obviously more people, more defenses, and he gets stronger, basically because of the how much people he has around him, because he's basically he is surrounded by a bunch of enemies. But yeah, I think it should be like a game mode that's basically, it gets us, our adrenaline goes up because we get stronger and we become more determined, and we can't be killed that easily, where the enemies have stronger weapons while we have this undeniable hatred for this guy who's marked, this particular guy we gotta kill. So that's what I think. That's what I think, okay. But okay, so let's start with the other one. So it was marked enemies. Okay. I think there should be a game mode that's only focused on stealth. And if you fail, you fail. And then, because instead of doing like, what was the other one? I don't think there was another one. Marked enemies. Okay, yeah, there was another one. There was not just a marked and marked, because like, look at what if there's multiple marked enemies that could be hateful, so they could be hated, and that was what I was just talking about. Alright, let's just say that there is a specific person that we have to kill, alright? Because in this game, that's it. We go against like these mercenaries, and they're basically mercs. And there's like this one mercenary who has like a heavy gun or has a bunch of armor on, got a big minigun in his hand, and he's trying to mow us down with it. But for The Last of Us Part 2, there's not much body armor and minigun. But I'm not gonna say it's not impossible, But maybe we should, basically be like an underboss other than the main boss. That's what I think. I think we should go against the underboss, and he'll basically be the underboss, but he would have, he was not going to be so as strong as the main boss at the end of the round. But yeah, that's what I think. But yeah, that's basically what I think that should happen. Just have a boss, like an underboss, basically before the main boss. Okay, so yeah, that's covered. Okay, next one we got is obviously the boss. Okay, so this is it. The boss for this game, the warlord for this game is very weird. It's basically a skeleton, a magical skeleton who can teleport or just like shift very fast, like Nightcrawler out of X-Men. You can see in the game. You just see it in the game. It's basically like that. He has a bunch of powers that can help him do certain things and to be, you know. And we can do it in the multiplayer. And I think you can do it in survival. I'm not really sure. Maybe you Uncharted fan kids out there can tell me about it. But yeah, but what for Last of Us Part 2 is I sense would have to be a main boss in the game. There has to be more than one enemy, more than one boss in that game. 10 plus hours of gameplay and 10 plus hours of storytelling, and they're gonna. If you ever tell me, if the producers in that game and the developers and Naughty Dog have told me, oh, we don't have any bosses or any more than one boss, I'm like, man, are you kidding me? Let me tell you something, man. That game is gonna be 10 plus hours long. It's gonna be longer than your first game. If they can't find some bad bosses, some really bad, nasty bosses, and just make them as underbosses, or even just being like more than just one, I think that's kind of bad. That's kind of sad. All right, because 10 plus hours of just killing random survivors and random cultists and a bunch of stuff like that. I mean, it should have some more to that. So yeah, I think they should get bosses from the game that it's on, Last of Us Part 2, but also get other, like, Last of Us Part 1 bosses. There were bosses that were in there. Remember when we went up against the sniper for... No, let's not say the sniper. Let's say David. What if David was one of the bosses in the Last of Us Part 2 survival mode? You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing that I'm taking right there. I don't think there were many other bosses, really. I mean, David was really the only boss you had, and if you knew what you were doing, you could beat him probably in like a minute, like literally in 60 seconds, if you knew what you were doing. Like I did. I can defeat David easily in any game mode. Grounded, survival, hard, normal, easy. I just went from down up. Okay, I could do it in any game mode if you knew what you're doing. Because I obviously know how I'm playing the Last of Us Part 1. But that's what I think this game needs. The only thing Last of Us Part 2 is going to need is probably a survival mode. They're going to make a really good multiplayer, yeah, good. They're going to make an amazing story, good. If they don't put a survival mode in this game, I'm going to be really disappointed in that. Because I would love to see how brutal the game is and basically grab the story and multiplayer, basically co-op, and you go out here on your friends and you can basically murder and kill pretty much all these types of enemies and stuff. I think that's like the most coolest and most funnest thing you can do in any game, So yeah, I think this game has a lot of potential. I believe this game is going to be really good. I think The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be an amazing game for me. A lot of people will have a lot of bad things or saying bad things about it, and I don't believe it, man. I can't believe this game is bad. I can't. It's something that I can't deny. That's like my faith in God. I can't deny my faith, the faith that I have in this game to be good. And if it is bad, that is just how it is. But I'm gonna love the game as the way that I love it, just because I love the brand and I love the story and I love everything else. That's what I'm gonna be doing it on. Okay, that's what I'm gonna be doing it out of. Okay. So yeah, I probably did not cover everything in this game, but I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I'll tell you guys in my community if I'm gonna do anything next, and yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have anything, and also if I don't think The Last of Us Part 2 is not gonna be bad. I can guarantee it. Because the game they've never made a bad game, man, and it'd be really sad and really bad if they didn't. If they did make a bad game and made a terrible Last of Us Part 2 and ruined probably one of the greatest series of in a video game I've ever seen. If they do that, they're gonna disappoint a lot of fans. And some of them aren't as nice and friendly and forgiving as I am. Okay, so yeah. So I want you guys also know that, and to tell you guys that, tell you guys these things, okay? Because just know that yeah, we have to think that because like I said in my last video, The Last of Us Part 2 may come out next year. It's going to come out next year sometime. I believe that. 99.99% I believe that's going to come out next year, 2019. That's my belief. And it's going to come out Mother's Day. I'm a firm believer in that. And that's when it's going to come out. But yeah, I think that, yeah, that's just that's my setting, my standard. And, you know, I always like to have some type of, you know, exactly where I want to have a goal for when The Last of Us Part 2 come out. My goal was it was going to come out right after E3. That's when I thought it was going to come out. But now it's changed to in May of 2019. That's my new goal for this game when it's going to come out. So yeah, this is the game. You don't hear much of my PlayStation background because I'm on SHAREfactory. I'm not on a game. I'm just on an application that doesn't require much. But right now, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I do hope you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you want to see me and more of these Last of Us Part 2 videos, because they are for The Last of Us Part 2. Don't just because the Last of Us gameplay is in here doesn't mean it's not about it. All right. Hopefully you guys do not look at the game as like, oh, he's playing Uncharted now. No, this is basically using some gameplay to achieve a certain goal for The Last of Us Part 2. That's it. But I hope you guys really love these videos. Tell me if you guys love them, and I'll keep doing them. If you like me analyzing gameplay like this, please tell me if you do. And yeah, if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more videos, like more Last of Us Part 2 videos, and just Last of Us videos in general. And tell me anything. Tell me stuff. All right, comment down below what you think about these theories. Tell me what you guys think of how The Last of Us Part 2 may be in a survival mode in the future for the game. And tell me if you even want a survival mode in the game, and if they do, just tell me what you think about it. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed I hope you guys enjoy. And with that being all said, I'll see you guys later. I'll see you next time, and you guys take it easy.